You're listening to the Rock and Roll Show on BRFM 95.6 and also online. Tune in every Thursday night from 7 to 10 p.m. for your share of the hottest sounds around with your DJ and host, Rockin Dave.
Dancing Doll there. That was Art Adams, and we here at BRFM would love to say hello to Art. Hello, Art.
Hello, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, we're good, mate. How's the weather over there? Have you still got the snow?
Well, we don't. Snow's almost gone. Would you believe it's 60 degrees here in Plainfield, Indiana today? But then starting midnight, so tonight we're going to have snow, and it's going to drop down tomorrow in the 20s again. But unbelievable! Yeah. It's 60 degrees here right at this minute. 60 degrees.
That's mad, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's
crazy.
warm. It's warm. Go on.
Yeah, we call it Indiana weather.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's been lots of songs sung about Indiana, isn't there? So.
Oh yeah.
Says
yeah.
It all.
There's been a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, mate. And we'll go right back to the start. You know, with Dancing Doll, and that you went right. You recorded with Cherry Records. Yes,
small record company based in Scottsville, Kentucky, and we actually recorded at in Nashville at the RCAB studios.
Yep. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Been there. That's a big old studios, that, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it was a little bit. I guess. We were young, so we didn't think too much about it, but it was a little bit intimidating. They had this huge glass and a guy sitting back there, and we had first time any of us had ever had on earphones, and we had actually recorded the demos at the radio station, but I don't remember using earphones, and at first it was sort of hard to get used to, but actually we only took one take of the songs we recorded. The only song that we took more than one take was Indian Joe, and that was because Joe Dyson, the owner of Cherry Records, wanted me to do more of those war hoops. So the others were just. But yeah, it was really something. It was really awesome. But studio was much larger than Sun, which as you know, we just recorded 16 songs at Sun, and then 4 of them has been released from Bear Family in Germany. EP called Memphis Dream.
I've listened to that. That's a good CD. So.
Yeah, well, one of the songs down in Tennessee was more or less what we used to call the country version. I actually took that song to Sun. But long story quick here. Sam Phillips was there. I talked to Jack Clemens, real nice, and it was so far from where I lived at the time, 700 miles. But now we actually re-recorded that down in Tennessee at Sun, but now it's a much up-tempo song, and it's really rock. It's real rockabilly now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, obviously you've got Tim Gibson on guitar now, and Mike on bass. Is it? I think
Mike Strauss on drums. And,
I'm
sorry, Mike Strauss on upright bass, and our normal drummer is Mark Cutsager. He said 203. Actually. If you got time to listen a minute, Mike Strauss. There's a story there if you want to hear.
Yeah,
Mike actually put the band together. When I actually didn't want a band when I was actually talked in basically to get back into music. But
really,
a friend of mine who was a record collector. I got a little bit of a cold today.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So, but he had called me and wanted to set a DJ and wanted to meet me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, yeah, it's okay. You give a phone number.
Yep.
So he was a local DJ and named Rich Hines, and he's part of our story too, I guess. So I set up a meeting, a breakfast meeting, with him here in Plainfield, Indiana, and several musicians, I think 5 or 6 musicians showed up, and one of them was Mike Strauss, and I hit it off with Mike right away, and Mike said, well, we got a little band, how about come and practice with us? And I said, well, when you practice, and he said, on a Thursday night, and I said, well, I'm bowling right now on Thursday, but anyway, I said that I would take off one night and come up, and I went and listened to him, and Mike and I talked, and I said, well, Mike, I've been in music for a long time, but the way I see it, you're the only one here that can, play rockabilly. He said, I know that. So Mike, he's a great guy. He put our first guitar player, Mike brought was Danny Thompson here in town. He's an excellent guitar player, great friend. And, but we started to travel, and Danny wasn't, he's a big fella, and we had to have 2 vehicles, so we switched over to, we were at the studio, a friend that talked us into coming up, well, our drummer, Mark Cutsanger, said, come up and meet this guy, the studio. So we got up there, got to hanging around. He was and Tim Gibson was a friend of this fellow. His name was Terry Hickman, and helped put the studio together. So we were working on a CD and recorded it at another studio. So this Terry Hickman said, well, bring it over here, maybe I can. So anyway, we went back one night, and somebody had put some guitar on it. So Mike said, who's that? And Terry said, well, it's my friend Tim Gibson. And so we were getting ready to go to Chicago, do a show, and then from Chicago we was going to Green Bay, and then we had a local show booked. So we invited Tim to come and sit in with us. So he sat in with us at the local show, and he went to Chicago with us, and then he did. We played the big show in Green Bay, Wisconsin, at the Riverside Ballroom, and it was really a great. We were the headliners. It was really a great show, and then Danny Thompson and Tim both were there. But then Tim's been with us ever since, except for a short period of time when he had a medical problem. So Mike's been with us from the get-go, and Mark Cutsanger, and it's on all our recordings, and then Tim's been with us for about a year after Mike put the band together. So Mike Strauss, he's been he takes care. He's basically a bass player manager. He makes out the set list. He does takes care of a lot of phone calling and stuff that any manager would do. So I've been very. It's like the old days, I had a great band at the Rhythm Nights I recorded with, and I got this great band now. So that's a thing that keeps me going. And they're all good guys and also musicians, all of them.
Yeah, of course. Now, one of the reasons that you've come on the show tonight is you've been nominated for the Ameripolitan Awards.
Yes, I've been nominated by the Ameripolitan Music Awards for Rockabilly Singer for 2018. It's going to be held in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a Gaylord Hotel. February 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Awards night's on the 13th.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to vote for you, they can go via your website to their thing to nominate you.
Yeah, if anybody wants to vote for me, which I certainly appreciate it, they go to the Metropolitan Music Award website, and a red oval will come up. It says vote, and then you just scroll down. There's several categories, and my category, you'll see my photograph and of course, name under it. Then there's a small box that you click, and then after you do that, you scroll down to leave your email to confirm your vote.
Exactly, yeah. And interesting, you're the only 50s artist on that list.
Yeah, I'm the only 50 artist in any category. There's several categories. There's female rockabilly singer. There's honky tonk singers. There's groups. There's several DJ groups.
I did see that.
You're not one of the DJs either.
No, that's right. Yeah.
You should be, but
thank you, my friend.
Yeah, there's I'm the only 50 what they call a living legend, I guess. Exactly. I'm the only one. I certainly would appreciate a vote. I appreciate that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's not many of you guys left these days. So we've got to look after the ones that we've got left.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we lost Sonny Burgett last year, and Sonny, I was fortunate enough to spend some time with him down at Nashville Boogie, and Sonny and I have been friends since I think the second year that I got back in music. Maybe at Green Bay, I met him at Green Bay at. We were hanging out at the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, and really a super guy. And
he was,
I got to chat with him and take a picture together last year at the Nashville Boogie, and he's going to be missed. He's one of the Rockabilly legends. There's several of us. Like you said, unfortunately, time seems to take care of most everything, but there's not too many of us left. No.
And unfortunately, we lost like Chuck Berry as well, and Fats Domino last year as well, on the rock and roll side of it.
Yes.
So it's now you were telling me earlier about a little story about Jerry Lee Lewis, somebody that you saw but you didn't actually get to meet. Yeah,
well, it's two stories actually. When Rockabilly faded out in the early about 61, I had a management job with a large corporation, and I had small children, and I'd been playing a lot, and I had decided that I would give up music, but and I had one way or the other. Me and two other fellows started a vending company, and I needed to make some extra money, so I put a rock and roll band together, and it was called the Epics, EPICS, and we did a lot of teen dances. We also played the clubs, and we played military base called Fort Harrison. But every other Sunday night, we played a teen dance, a huge one, in an old barn where they put together a little fountain downstairs. It was called the Whiteland Barn, and they would book various different people, and they would come just by themselves.
Yep.
Jerry Lee Lewis was one of them.
Yep.
We backed up Jerry Lee Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
We also backed up D.G. Sharp. We
Mm-hmm.
also backed up Gene Simmons of Haunted House.
Yep.
We backed up the Ripcords from California.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was first encounter with Jerry Lee Lewis. But then later on, sometime in the mid '60s, he was playing in a club in Speedway, Indiana.
Yep.
And me and it was four of us went to see him, and I was sitting up real close, but I didn't go up and talk to him this time because we all thought he was coming back to do a couple more songs, but he never. I was going to talk to him when he come back, but he's pretty well known for once he leaves the stage, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
And then I had my third sort of encounter with Jerry. My first booking with Green Bay, Wisconsin, I was booked, I think, on Jerry was booked on a Tuesday night. I was booked on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Well, I think he had trouble with his transportation, a plane or something. So the promoter come to me and asked me if I would do him a favor. And I said, if you don't want $1 million, maybe I could do it. He said, well, Jerry Lee's not going to show up. Will you take his place? I said, well, I don't think I can take his place, but I'd be glad to do that. So I'm thinking, boy, all these people, they're going to be out there to expecting to see Jerry Lee Lewis, and I'm going to walk out there on the stage. So Big Sandy was doing a lot of the MCing.
Yeah.
So I backstage I called his name is Robert. I called Robert over the side and I said, Robert, when you go out there, you be sure that you tell them that Jerry Lee Lewis had transportation difficulties and he's not going to be here. And Art Adams is, and of course at that time, I had done Vegas and I think Hibsby and people at Green Bay. The crowd there, well, a lot of them were from. In fact, there was two or three people that I'd seen I'd met at Hibsby was standing right up to the stage, and so I didn't. We didn't lose anybody, so
that's good.
we only had one guy. The next day was upset. He said he'd heard Jerry Lee, and he come just to see me. And he was from Austria, and it cost him a lot of money to get there. So, but he was only kidding.
Yeah, of course. Now you actually.
So that's a Jerry Lee Lewis story.
Yeah. Well, you've got another story about a very famous female that you met as well.
Who's that? Janice Martin?
No, Marilyn.
Who's that?
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, Marilyn Monroe. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well. I'm a Korean veteran, and I served in during the conflict, and it so happened that I was still in Korea when they signed the ceasefire. They never signed the peace treaty, and so I was I had some rank, and I was kind of in charge of Bob Hope and Marilyn Rowe come over, and I was kind of sort of in charge of that situation. So I've got like 12 pictures of Marilyn, and got some of her on stage, and I got some with just a real close up that I took myself, and I met Marilyn Monroe in of all places in South Korea. So that's a bit different, isn't it? I haven't put those pictures, photographs out on Facebook because I was offered. I've been offered some money from them, but I'm not into selling memorabilities. But I'd be glad to show them to you next time I see you. So it looks like I'm probably going to see you at the Wildest Cats in July.
Yes,
right?
yes. Well, I've as I went on air, I got a text from Richie G saying that he's booked you and for the summer. Yeah,
he just he called me and I seen the number from England. I thought, well, that's not Dave because he don't live in England. And I thought I was talking to him and I said, I'm thinking, I hope this conversation don't run into when you're going to call me. But he was real excited because to tell you the truth, Dave, I haven't really talked to the band a lot about it, but I've got several shows booked besides this one, and I was really appreciative because this will be my third time to the Wildest Cats, and I was just there last year.
Of course.
And Richie's a good guy, and this will be my last show in England because I'm planning on at this point. I'm planning on being my last year to perform in 2018. Yeah. Because it's we all have to kind of slow down sometime.
Exactly.
And I got so many friends and people that, and in fact, the matter I told Richie, I said, I was thinking about you the other day because I said I've had in the last week I've had several friends that asked me if I'm coming back to England, and there's one really good friend that used to live here about 13 years. Yeah. His name is Jerry Wallach, and he worked for AT&T, and he worked on my TVs and stuff, and he's now moved back to England. So I know his family, his mother, dad. I know his sister, and just so many people. And of course, we'll miss Andy over there because Andy passed away. But that's So I believe that Richie told me I'd be performing on July the 6th.
Okay, so that's going to be your last performance in the UK. So which would be very sad, but be great to see you again. So
well, Dave, we all have to slow down. I sometime. Exactly. And it's. I think it's. I've been going real strong. I've probably done more shows than most of the guys since 2003. Yep. Gosh, I've been all over the world. I think I've been to. This will be since 2003, and you probably know this will be my 13th time to England alone, and 4 times to Scotland. Yeah. I don't know how many times to Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Spain, France. Holland. I just, I've had some, and Mike and Tim has been going with me, and gosh, I got stuck in England. I mean, in London one time for 12 hours. We got stuck in Chicago one time all night long. But I love the people, and I don't call them fans. I always refer to them as friends because I've been treated so good. I've been treated like family. I'm originally from Kentucky, and down home we never met a stranger, and everybody's always saying, "Oh, y'all come back," and they always meant that, and I've never I've never turned anybody down to do an interview. And in fact, the matter, I always try to do them as quick as I can because when you're doing a show, you get busy, and then you might. For you guys, it wasn't for DJs like you all. You're a big help to us. You play our music, otherwise our music would get out there. Yeah. If going back to the awards, mm-hmm. If I happen to win, it's going to be not just for me. It'll be for all the 50s guys. Sonny, Johnny, and Hayden, and Gene, and just all of us, because we haven't. We get a lot of recognition when we go to Europe, but we don't get as much in the States. However, I appreciate what Dale Watkins is doing. He contacted me himself and asked me if I'd like to be nominated, and I told him sure, and so. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate winning, but if I don't win, I don't win.
Yeah. Well, I've actually had a thing saying that somebody can't find how to vote. So maybe if I stick a link on my Facebook page, and if you could do one on yours, then people will be able to find the link to be able to vote. There's another thing there. I'm not all that computer literate, but there's what they call a ballot blaster, right? That they could go to also, and I think that just takes them right. That takes them right into the same thing that I was explaining. You just go to click on the Metropolitan website, and then they got a little advertising there, and first, and then the next thing is this red oval, and it says vote, and you have to click that, and then scroll on down to the names. They've got several categories before they get to the Rockabilly singer, and of course, my name being AA, I'm listed first. Of course. Oh, and I've just been told that the voting ends tomorrow. Is that right?
That's what they say. They say the vote ends tomorrow. Yes.
Oh, so this is a good time to get people voting, then, really.
It'd be a good time to do this interview because I heard that the voting was ended tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes. So we're actually gonna get this interview on the net tonight as well. So people can listen to that as well. So well, thank you for your time, Art. It's been great.
Well, you're quite welcome, Dave. Hey, I understand you're coming back to States in May.
I am, May, June time. Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, we're sort of doing another road trip. We're going to end up we're hoping to meet up with you at the Nashville Boogie, but if not,
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, if not,
I hope.
Go on.
Go ahead. Sorry.
If not, we're going to definitely meet up with you in Indy. Definitely.
No, sure, absolutely. We'd like to meet up with you and chat a little bit.
Yeah,
well, thanks very much, Dave, for the interview, and I appreciate it. And tell all the Rockabilly fans of our music that I'm looking forward to seeing them in England at the Wildest Cats in July.
Of course, yeah. Well, thank you, Art, and we'll speak to you again really soon, yeah?
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.